differentiating if what you need in your organization now is a chief operating officer or director of operations or an executive assistant, okay, an EA. So COO or an EA. And they're two very distinct roles in an organization with different skill sets and responsibilities. But all right. Welcome back to another episode of the Female Empowered Podcast. I am your host, Krista Gurka, and I'm super excited about this episode today because I talk about it a lot, and it's what I really work on with the women in our inner circle group, because these women in the group have surpassed the $200,000 mark. And what they're looking to do is really try to remove themselves from the day-to-day operations. And so a lot of times we are trying to figure out what kind of additional support do they need in their business. Is it an additional physical therapist? Is it more administrative? Is it more content creation? Is it an operations person? Is it a growth person? Is it a financial person? What type of role do they really need to add to their business so that it can free up some of their time and also provide valuable insight into things that maybe us as business owners, as founders, as practitioners may not have the skill set to do, okay? Certainly, once you are approaching high six figures and seven figures, definitely for an online business, I would say you can probably get to 500,000 to seven figures with a very lean team. In a brick and mortar, especially in our industry, once you really start getting past that $500,000 mark into the high six figures, it's time to consider bringing on an additional more people for an executive team, a leadership team, whatever you want to call it. The C-suite, right, which is they call it the C-suite because it's chief operating officer, chief executive officer, chief marketing officer, chief financial officer. There's all sorts of stuff out there now. You can call it your executive team. You can call it your leadership team. You can call it whatever the hell you want. It doesn't really matter, right? But there is a point where you're going to get your business as far as it can grow on your own. And I hit that point too. It was definitely after I surpassed $1 million in revenue, seven figures, and I needed some additional operational support. Now, I've learned a lot in hiring for that role over the last 4 years. So I hired my first operations person in 2018. And I hired another one again in 2021, and we just transitioned out of that role into another role as well. So what I'm going to go over today is a little bit more of like that higher level executive. So differentiating if what you need in your organization now is a chief operating officer or director of operations or an executive assistant, okay, an EA. So COO or an EA. And they're two very distinct roles in an organization with different skill sets and responsibilities, and they can add a tremendous amount of value and growth to your business. We now offer this as a service in the Beyond the Movement program. So we have referrals for fractional COOs and also fractional CFOs and virtual assistants and executive assistants. And so we kind of do the work of vetting these people and working with them and teaching them all about the fitness and wellness industry. And members of our inner circle get discounts and promos to work with these people and their organizations to come in and help systematize and streamline their unique businesses. So without further ado, let's get into what these different roles look like, why I'm a big proponent of them, why I'm in favor of them, although still keeping your team lean and expenses down. But while I really think helps our businesses grow. Okay. Now, when are you going to look for a chief operating officer or a director of operations? So this person usually is, once you've gotten surpassed $350,000, $500,000, it's time to start looking for what kind of person you need on your team. I would say a chief operating officer is someone that you're going to bring in usually when you're at high 6, 7-figure operations, especially when you don't have other managers and whatnot on your team. Okay. So if you are a business that is in rapid growth mode, okay, your business is growing rapidly, you need someone to manage the day-to-day operations while you, as the leader, as a founder, focus on strategy and business development. Now, that's what I did when I first brought Steve in 2018. We were in rapid growth mode and we were a disaster, a hot mess, a shit show, all of those things. And I was doing everything, right? And so I really needed someone to help streamline our processes, help manage the day-to-day operations so I could be removed from that role and really focus on strategy, growth, mission, vision, and business development. Okay. What do chief operating officers work on? Okay. At the time that we brought Steve in, our business, like I said, was a hot mess, right? We had no processes in place. They were all in my head. Okay. We were looking for someone to come in and help us build out our SOPs. We had very complex operations at that time, and we really needed someone to come in, manage those processes, help improve our internal communication system. And that's really what we did. We at that time, we were not using a project management tool. We were not using Slack for internal communication. Everything was done via email or sticky notes. That's not sustainable. Okay. So bringing Steve in allowed me to step away from that and really have him, who had a lot of background in operations and in technology, and really, excuse me, look at our systems and be like, you need to automate this. You need to work on this. He introduced a lot of technology to our business. He had come from the startup world. And so really we had a terrible, terrible lack of structure. Okay. We lack structure. So if your business is lacking structure, if you're still communicating via emails and getting lost, or people are talking to you or leaving sticky notes on your desk, if you have no SOPs for your business, if you have no processes, if you have no employee handbook, if you're really scared of technology and introducing all this new technology that can help you grow your business, maybe a chief operating officer is someone you need. You need someone to come in and look in your business, okay, and say, this is a yard sale, a dumpster fire. I'm going to use all the cliches I can use, but you have some really good foundation here. We just need to come in and like organize it all, right? Unclutter. So these people can look at your business and figure out, what are you doing too much of? What are you not doing enough of? How can you streamline it? So like delegate, delete, defer, all of these things we teach in our programs, but sometimes it's just too much for you as a business owner to do. And that's where having someone come in to do that can be very, very valuable. The other thing that a director of operations or chief operating officer brings to the table is strategy and strategic planning. If you need someone to also help you design, develop the future growth strategy of the business and execute in long-term strategy and planning, someone who has chief operating skills and expertise is really great for that. All right. And also, usually these people have financial management. They will sometimes manage your P&L, sometimes manage your budget. Look at the budgets, the forecasting, make sure they're correct, make sure they're in line with where you're going and where you're headed. Work with your financial team if you have one, which, by the way, might even just be a bookkeeper. So that is really what a chief operating officer or director of operations, whatever you want to call them, will do for your business. So this person, like I said, you're usually in rapid growth mode. You have a really severe lack of structure and some complex operations in there. And you want someone that's going to not only help you with the structure, but with the strategy and financial management, right? So it's very high level when you're looking at bringing someone like that in. Now, I did bring someone in full time into my business, which is a six-figure salary. Okay. According to, right now, according to the, I think it's I looked it up I'm reading this right now. So data from PayScale, which is, a site that talks all about pay rates around various features. Now take into consideration that pay rates and salaries, they take into effect a lot of things, such as bonuses, healthcare, if you have vacation, et cetera, et cetera. But on average, as of April of this year, 2023, the average salary for a COO of a small company with less than 20 employees is approximately $125,000. Now, that being said, the range goes from 75 all the way up to $200,000, including full packages, which are like performance bonuses and things of that nature for a small company, less than 20 employees. I do not believe that this is something a business that has not approached $500,000 in revenue or more needs. However, when you do surpass that $500,000 mark and you're really struggling with really helping to get your business in order and streamlined and packaged really, really nicely, this is someone that you can bring on a fractional basis. Okay, so this is, again, services that we offer with our Beyond the Movement programs, fractional COO services, where if you're a member of our Inner Circle or even our VipBiz Foundations program, you can speak to some of our affiliates that we work with and that you get discounts on their services. And what does that mean, fractional? Fractional means you don't hire them full-time, right? So they're going to work for a lot of different companies. When I first hired my chief operating officer, he worked 40 hours a week for me. And we had him on staff for about 3 years. And I didn't expect that role to continue longer than 3 years, to be honest. I felt 24 to 36 months was going to be enough time for them to come in, help me streamline, help me strategize, help me really kind of harness the power of what the business was and where it was going. And then they would eventually move on, right? So an option to have a fractional COO is very, very lucrative, and you also time saving, right? So maybe instead of 100 grand a year, you might pay 25 grand a year, or 30 or 40, depending on how much you're going to use them. Or maybe you have someone come in and kind of do an audit and see what it is that you need and where you could help offload some things on your plate, because this is like high level stuff. And most of us in our business really don't understand the back end operations of how a business runs and how we can streamline it and the technology that's available for us. Okay, now, what's the difference between a chief operating officer, okay, and then someone who's going to come in and help you as an executive assistant? This is different than a virtual assistant, okay? A virtual assistant is usually someone that helps, like, again, behind the scenes. They're virtual, they're not in your office. They're doing things like graphic, like most of you have heard me speak about Sarah and her company, Catch Creative Labs, and she helps with our website, with our emails, with our graphics, a little bit with our social media. And so she's a virtual assistant. She does work full time for me, but she's not really involved in the day-to-day operations of the studio. She's more task-oriented, okay? So an executive assistant is really someone that's going to help you with time management. Okay, so if you are in need of someone to help manage your calendar, whether it's personal and work, schedule appointments for you, control your calendar, help with administrative tasks. So even if you have an administrator, but they need someone to go to, that an executive assistant can help with that. They can help with travel. Okay. We have an executive assistant now that is amazing, and she just helped me book all of the travel and coordinate everything for our retreat that's happening in May, our Inner Circle retreat. So it's really great with that. They can do booking flights, they can do hotels, any type of transportation, meals. The other thing is they can help with like correspondence. When you see, well, they could be in charge of your email box. Okay. They can handle outgoing email if you want. They can handle customer issues. They can handle the bank. Okay, so if you give them access to being able to make deposits and withdraw money if you need to, they can take money to the bank, they can pay bills for you, they can do that type of management. Okay, they can be available for personal assistance, they can help coordinate, right, the contractor to come in and hang different things in your studio, or they can do the ordering for the inventory. And they can definitely help with project management, right? So if they're managing specific products, so maybe or projects, they can be the ones that are going to make sure that all of the processes for, if you have a podcast, that they're being done properly, that whoever's in that project is dropping the copy or editing the podcast or uploading the video or whatever have you, right? They can also help you with, making sure that they're coordinating with everyone. So if you have a lot of moving parts, you have, a virtual assistant that's doing this part and a content copywriter that's doing this part, and maybe a staff member, they can coordinate to make sure and be the liaison to make sure all those moving parts are moving together, as well as create timelines for people and track progress. Okay. Another great thing that an executive assistant can help with is really understanding how it is that you work as a founder, and being able to do things like, oh, don't worry, I ordered the meals for the staff meeting, right? And they already know what kind of meals you like and when they need to be delivered. Here, I prepared the slide deck for you for the staff meeting. It's all ready for you. So executive assistants are also just more task oriented, but they're not really working on the growth and strategy. The benefit of an executive assistant is that they're going to you can delegate a ton of stuff to them and you can focus on the vision. So let me give you an example. We are going to start running some new services at Pilates in the Grove, and we're going to add some recovery services to our product suite. And so I said, I tasked my executive assistant with, can you research red light therapy, infrared sauna, Normatec boots, Hyperice, all of that stuff. Can you research the various modalities we can use, price point, and then match it up against what our budget will allow us to do? She went, did all the work, and she presented it to me. And then we made a decision together, myself and the team, about what we were going to do. And then I said, okay, are you able to order it? Great, she can order it. So I am going to be responsible. Remember, we talk about the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule all the time. I am going to focus 80% of my time on the 20% of tasks that's going to grow my business and move the needle. That is things like coming up with the ideas, all right, recording these podcasts, and making the ultimate decisions. But I don't have to be the one on the phone ordering the stuff. I don't have to necessarily be the one researching it. And I don't have to be the one that's like at the studio waiting for the deliveries. Somebody else can do that. Somebody else that we pay to do that. So I'll give you another example. I've been wanting to hang, if you know anything about the Pilates arcs, we've been in this space now for 2 years, and I've wanted to hang them. All I need to do is literally go to Home Depot, buy the hooks, and schedule someone to come out and do it. She got that done literally she's been working for like 2 weeks. All right. It took me 2 years. I haven't even gotten it done. So what you're looking for in an executive assistant is someone that definitely is very organized. Okay. Takes initiative, does not need a ton of information from you on what to do. Okay, so if at the beginning, probably yes, but at some point they're going to be able to run and really learn what you need to do. So these people can work full-time, they can be in the studio, out of the studio. I ideally love it local because they can help you with even some personal stuff, picking things up, again, ordering, deliveries, all of that stuff, coordinating with contractors when you have work that needs to be done. So executive assistants are less strategic and more executors. Okay, so one of the things we love to do when we are looking for certain roles in our company is we like to use strength finders, which helps you determine, are these people more strategic or are they more executors, right? For an executive assistant, you really want someone who's an executor. For a chief operating officer, you want someone that has execution strengths, but you also want someone who has strategic strengths because they're going to look at also the strategy. Okay. If you want someone that's going to head up your people department, right? People management, you want someone that has relationship building and influencing skills. Now, when I first hired my first chief operating officer, what I really needed was strategy and structure and strategic planning and help to streamline our processes. Once he was able to do that, I really didn't need so much any of that stuff anymore. And what we really did need was more executive assistant help. Executive assistant help to be able to go to this person that is extremely knowledgeable, okay? And my manager can go to her, the girl, my client concierge team, the instructors, myself. Already in just like the couple weeks that she's been working with us, she figured out that we were charging the wrong sales tax, right? We had 6% instead of 7%, which meant that when we were paying sales tax to the state, I was covering the additional 1%. Okay, so she figured that out. She has already figured out some inconsistencies that were in our HR portal that needed to be fixed. Okay, that's another thing. An executive assistant can help with all of HR, onboarding, offboarding, benefit management, and things of that nature. So the other thing is really, it's more than the role per se. It's also what you need as a business owner, as a founder. What do you need? Do you like having all the big ideas and just want someone to go implement them? Okay. Or are you more the implementer and you want someone to help you with strategy? Which is it? Do you need someone to work with your people? So you really need someone that's going to be more relationship building. And this, when we are in the inner circle with our team, this is what we really try, what we work with them on and really trying to figure out. It's one of the 4 pillars we work on. The first pillar is structure. Do you have the right structure in your business? Do you have the right people in the right seats? And if not, we need to fix the structure before you can do anything else. Now, the other benefit of an executive assistant is that the current salary for them as of April of 2023 is approximately $60,000. So they come at a much lower price point. Now, that also depends on their education, their experience, and how quickly can they get things done. So for example, I have a friend who's an attorney, and his fee, I think, is like $500 an hour, which I was joking with him one day and I said, that's crazy. I'll never feel bad for my fees again. And I may have told the story before, but he said to me, I am really, really good at what I do. So I am $500 an hour, but I can get done in 1 hour what somebody else that does the same thing as I do probably takes 4 hours to do. And if someone's charging $250 an hour, that's actually going to cost you, the client, more than just hiring me for an hour. And so this is what I tell people, right? So this is why I'm a big proponent of our coaching program. So our coaching programs are expensive. I mean, FitBiz Foundations is a no-brainer. Okay. For a couple $1,000s a year, less than $3,000 a year, which is really what people, if you're charging $300 a session and you sell set 10, that's $3,000. Okay. That is a no-brainer for people to join that group. Now, our inner circle is more expensive. However, if I can save you the time and energy and emotional bandwidth, because if you say, I don't know what to do to find a bookkeeper, and I'm like, oh, go talk to these 2 people and figure out the best one, that's going to save you time. And in the long run, will probably save you money because I'll be able to give you the right questions to ask so that you hire the best person at the best price point. That's number 1. Number 2, if I can save you time and energy on where to be Googling or YouTube or all this stuff, and I say, no, here's the resource, this is exactly where you need to go. So I might be more the program might be pricier. And by the way, it's not pricier than what other people are charging who do not have 7-figure businesses anymore, okay, are out there in the real coaching world right now. So you're buying back your time, basically. All right. So if you hire, so let's say you hire an executive assistant, even at $80,000 a year, but they're able to free up your time and give you 10, 15 hours back in your week. That's amazing, right? That is a huge return on your investment. So that's why I'm saying, yes, it's a high price point to start with, and you don't necessarily have to hire somebody full time. But what it will do over the long run of your business is give you that bandwidth back, right? Because none of us are energized by like managing transportation or going to the bank to get deposits or getting petty cash for your business, okay? That is not something that you as a CEO need to be doing. Let somebody help you do that so that you can focus your time and energy on the things that are really going to grow your business. So that being said, right, chief operating officer, definitely if you're over 500, 600, 750,000, if you're over $1 million in revenue, I highly would encourage you, especially if your business is a dumpster fire. If you have no organization in your business, if you have no clear structure, if you have no clear strategy, definitely having someone come into your business and help you do that. And if you're interested, you can visit our website, kristagurka.com, and head over to the Work With Me page, and you'll see some of our fractional COO services. We also offer fractional CFO services and executive assistant services as well. If you're below $500,000, but you're really like, I just need help, looking into hiring an executive assistant might be something that's like where you are at this stage. Asking for help is not weakness. Asking for help is probably one of the smartest decisions you can make in your business. All right, I'm going to say it again. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength, and it is one of the smartest business decisions you can make. Successful CEOs know this and know that them doing everything is the bottleneck in their business and is stifling the growth and innovation in your company. So I love talking about this topic because I really believe, one, it's awesome to be able to hire other people and give people a lucrative income. I think that's fabulous. I also think it's great to really see what kind of growth this has for your business and then ultimately for your life. It's been one of the best decisions I've ever made for my business. If you're interested in discussing a little bit more about this, or this is something that you're interested in learning, again, head on over to my website, kristagurka.com. You can DM me over on Instagram at kristagurka. And if you think this is a topic that would benefit a colleague, a friend, a family member, it would really mean a lot to me if you could share the episode with them or take a screenshot of you listening to it and tag me on Instagram. And I think that's all I got for you. I'm curious to hear what you all think. Or if you do have chief operating officers, director of operations, or executive assistants, what has been your experience? Let's open the conversation. All right. I look forward to chatting with you again next week. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday. Download and subscribe to the podcast so you get notifications when a new episode goes live. And until next time, bye for now.